Alright, hey guys, today the topic of interest is how to avoid an abusive relationship. So in this video I'll be sharing with you things that you can do to put yourself in the best position to avoid ever having to experience an abusive relationship. Because I often say prevention is better than cure. So if you pay attention to this video and you apply the stuff that I'm teaching in it, you give yourself the best chance of avoiding an abusive relationship. You don't want to deal with that, okay? So if you've ever listened to my videos, I talk about being happy on your own, I talk about you being whole on your own, I talk about you being fulfilled, enjoying the life that you have, having multiple sources of happiness first before you jump in a relationship. Now the reason why I say this is because it closes the door and it reduces the chances of you ever falling into an abusive relationship. Because for the most part, what society does is it programs us to think in a certain way. It programs us to believe that a relationship is going to make you happy. It programs you to make you think that a relationship is going to make you whole and fulfilled. And you often hear it in these like well-meaning phrases as well. You hear it in people saying, you know, me and my better half, or me and my other half. You know what I'm saying? Or you hear it in phrases like, you know, she completes me, she makes me whole, right? These phrases are well and good. They're coming from a good place, but what they're actually implying and insinuating is that you're not whole on your own, right? You're not complete on your own, that there's something missing in you. So because a lot of people are unhappy and they're not enjoying their lives, so what they do is they look to people or they look to a relationship to make them feel good, to make them feel happy, to make them feel whole. But the danger with that is that when you're unhappy and you jump into a relationship and for the sole purpose of trying to find happiness in the person that you're in, you leave yourself in a vulnerable position because you now place all your happiness, all the responsibility of your happiness into the hands of the other person that you're with, right? So what you're really saying is that, you know, the person I'm with right now, you are now the source of my good emotions. You are now responsible for the way I feel. I give you all my power. So they're now doing your job, right? You're no longer responsible for the way you feel now because you've made them responsible for the way you feel. So what happens? So this is what happens here. When everything's going great, you feel on top of the world, they're treating you right, it's amazing, it's a cha-cha, you know, everything's great, right? But the minute that they stop giving you what you want, or the minute they stop behaving the way that you think that they should, whatever, you begin to suffer emotionally, right? Because they're the source of your happiness, right? And you get upset and you get resentful because you made them responsible. And it opens the door to toxic relationships, because you must understand this, toxic relationships don't appear toxic at the beginning. They don't appear that way. So for the most part, when you're with a toxic person, right, it starts off well, and then you're like, you know, their real character starts to ooze through. So some people may be thinking, you know, if it's a toxic person, why don't you just walk away? It's not that simple, because when you're with a toxic person, you still have good times, right? The good times that you experience with them, it's not all doom and gloom. Sometimes there's joy, there's laughter, there's happiness, but there's also the other side that comes with it, right? You must understand. So if you're not happy and you've made this person the source of your happiness, the source of your good emotions, right, and you weren't happy on your own, it's harder to walk away. So even when the relationship gets bad, even when it gets toxic, you recall all the good times that you had with that person. You remember all the laughs that you've had, and you hang on to that idea and you clutch on and you stay, even though it's bad, because you figure that there's a glimmer of hope that things may go back to the way they once were. There's a glimmer of hope that things will go back to you being happy and fulfilled with that person, or feeling good with that person, right? Because you figure that if you were to leave, you'll be unhappy completely, but there's hope here, so you stay. And you stay until it gets so bad that you have to leave, that you're in so much pain being in that relationship that the pain outweighs being alone, if that makes sense, right? So you don't want to put yourself in that position. The way you avoid ever falling in that situation is, first of all, being happy on your own. So developing and building different sources of happiness. So when I'm talking about building different sources of happiness, what am I talking about? I'm talking about you living a life that you enjoy first, you being happy on your own first. So how do you do that? That starts off by you, having your own interests and hobbies and pursuing them and growing them, developing your own passion, pursuing that, developing healthy relationship and friends, staying connected to people, doing that. You can do that, you know what I'm saying? Building a good, healthy gym regimen or a good fitness regimen, that's going to make you feel good. Because this is the thing, when you feel good, you're able to judge whether or not somebody's actually good or bad for you. Because think about this, let's say I'm feeling good right now, I'm feeling happy, I'm content, I'm whole, everything is great, right? And I get into a relationship with somebody who, you know, I'm feeling good with them, they make me happy for a little bit, they add to my happiness, but then they start to get toxic. When they start to get toxic, I'm like, you know what, I don't have to deal with this because I was happy and cool on my own before I got together with this person. I'll be fine if I leave this person. I'll be okay, right? And that's what you want. You want to have that certainty that you'll be okay if you were to leave the person that you're with, right? You want to have that certainty because that now removes the dependence on them. That's what you don't want. You don't want to ever be dependent on people. because that leaves you in a very, very vulnerable position. So the first thing is build a life that you enjoy. So this is what you can do. This is what you can practically do right now. Pick at least 2 interests and start to pursue them. Pick anything. So some of you may be like, I don't have any interests. Pick something and try it out. And if you like it and it makes you feel good, stick with it. If it doesn't, pick something else. So the interests I have are this. I've got the gym. I love the gym. I've got recording videos. That makes me happy. I've got music. That makes me happy. Right? Pick 3 things or 2 things. 2 things at least. Right? And stick with it. I've got 3 things. Right? They bring me joy. Right? What else you can do? Right? Build a physical regimen. So for me, I love the gym, so that's automatic for me. But for you, you may not like the gym, but do something active that makes you feel good. So it could be like, I don't know, playing water polo, if that's what you're into, or it could be going for a run or going for a walk. Just something physical that makes you feel good. Okay? The next thing that you can do is build healthy relationships. Right? So make friends. So some of you are like, I don't have any friends. What can I do? You build friends by having interests. So if you have some sort of interest, something that makes you feel good, you can start to find other people who have similar interests to you, and you can bond over that, and over time you build the relationships. Because if you're connected to other people, you're not solely dependent on that one person. You know what I'm saying? So if you have multiple sources of happiness and you're feeling good and you're feeling whole and you're feeling content, it's easier to walk away from somebody. If you can't walk away from the person that you're with, if you don't think that you'll be okay on your own, then it's time to start improving yourself. Okay, that's what you want to do. You don't want to ever be dependent on somebody. Don't make somebody dependent on your happiness. Don't have that. You want to be independent, okay? Because if you do that, you minimize the chances of you ever having to experience an abusive relationship. You don't want that. Okay, so that's the video of the day, guys. Please apply what I'm saying to you, okay? So enjoy the rest of your day. And if you need one-to-one coaching, contact me on Instagram and we can make it happen, okay? All right, goodbye.